Hi there and welcome to this edition of Video at the Beach here in Finisterre, where I am celebrating my 5-month anniversary after having walked for 5 months through Europe. So today is a special day, the 17th of every month probably throughout my life from here on out. Will probably have a special ring to it. But today marks the exact same amount of time that I've been here as I have been walking through Europe, and very, very different ways of life, I can assure you. The first 5 months, or the 5 months of walking, was obviously, as you've probably seen, very hectic every day, walking to a new place, 20, 30, 40, sometimes 80 kilometers, walking to a new place to sleep in a new hotel or hostel or albergue or campsite. And a very abrupt change or shift in just staying in one place. Or, I mean, I've lived in 4 different places now here in Finisterre, but at least having a bit more of a stability in terms of where I stay and where I am, and, you know, cooking and these things, doing the work I do, and sort of, yeah, I don't need to do anything specifically like I was pulled to do in the first 5 months, or those 5 months of walking. So it's been very good, very different, but I can definitely say that the consistency and everything I went through when I walked has really made a very conclusive, significant change in my life. I feel so confident about who I am and why I am who I am, why I have done all that I have done throughout my life, especially my adult life, which pretty much is symptoms of everything I come from, but also, interestingly enough, things that I don't come from, because even though I come from my parents, I often feel that I'm not from them, not because I don't have some of my dad's things and my mom's things and so on, but because I'm so different from the rest of my family. I often compare myself, maybe, it's not in an arrogant way, but sort of kind of factual way, that, you know, I've probably had more experiences traveling wise and whatnot with all that I've done of all my family put together, possibly. And that's just my way of life. There's nothing better or worse about that. It's just my way of life. And I've always questioned that other conformed way of life, you know, with regards to religion and, you know, the conformed society that I have been so much against throughout my life. And it just seems like the last months here, especially the new year, my 36th year on the planet, has been sort of a revelation of who I am. I'm very comfortable now, confident in who I am, and I don't, I feel very new, new, and like something has changed. And that has been very special to experience. I thought I was going to do more writing, for example. I thought I was going to do more of something, but I have had, like, the first few months, I don't think I did much more than, you know, from November when I arrived until probably in March sometime, I probably have done less than than sometimes in my life, than some other times in my life. But I think I needed to just do nothing. I needed to just, you know, watch movies, maybe read a bit, do a little bit of walking, sit down here at the beach, you know, and not really pursue anything specifically, do my little day job so I can just stay afloat, you know, and buy my apples and stuff, you know. But otherwise, just needed to wait to just absorb myself, I guess, in some ways, absorb all that I experienced. But the thing is, I've not really felt like I needed to share it with people, or at least in my writing. I don't really feel I've needed to get it down. I want to get it down, and I will get it down at some point, and I want to write a book, and I can then share something exciting, maybe. Yeah, maybe I should wait with that actually, but yeah. So I think I just needed to wait to see what would happen, what would, a new focus or whatever. Also because that the world is the way it is, as you've seen my videos throughout my walk, pretty much maybe the first 60-70% maybe, I think I often shared a positive side of me. I think I did that consistently. But I also shared a very frustrated part of me, very angry part of me, especially during the middle phase where I experienced significant pain after Paris. But where was I going with that? I don't know where I was going with that. Oh yeah, that I've been very frustrated with regards to our society and all this whole situation with the world. Where I felt like and really saw clearly that there was power structures that definitely didn't want the best for people, and maybe still don't. And I've been very judgmental towards myself, my family and friends, and I've learned a lot the last months with regards to what I can and cannot control, what I should fight and what I shouldn't fight. And the biggest lesson I have learned the last months has been the fact that there's many people in this world right now, and I think we are very divided still. I feel very different, so it's hard for me to feel the same as I did before with regards to that division. But I know that the world is very divided still, probably, and I was very divided with it. But there's two things I want to say with this. There's one that has to do with the ego, and there's one that has to do with acceptance and responsibility. I've come to the conclusion that our society is the definition of the ego. Definition of the ego because it wants to suck out the energy of us people. I'm convinced that society doesn't want the best for people in the long run. It's bureaucratic, it's corrupt, but I'm not angry at it anymore, which is a blessing, and the blessing for me. Because the thing is that when you begin to meditate, and the long walk was probably like a long meditation in itself, you begin to realize that the ego that society is, society and deceives us people in many different ways to give it our energy. And you can then judge me, and you can say I'm wrong or incorrect and whatever. That's all good. But I have studied this for a long time, long enough to understand that that's actually the case. And so my point is that the same ego that wants to stay relevant, that wants to deceive us into being angry and giving it energy, operates in ourselves too. It's the same ego, the ego that operates from as a social and society perspective, is the same ego that operates in ourselves as a human being. And when you begin to understand what you need to give energy and what you don't in ourselves, the ego will fall, which is the case with me. And I'm not saying that I don't have an ego anymore, because of course it's there, but I'm trying to say that I have started to realize that if I give my ego energy, I'll also fight something that I can't change, or fight something that just wants my energy and attention to stay relevant, to stay alive. And I always have Gollum from Lord of the Rings in my mind when I use the idea of ego, because that's what Gollum is. Gollum is the definition of the ego that is attached to something, that is attached to something, literally, and can't live without it. and wants to deceive somebody into giving it its energy so it can stay relevant or stay alive. And when we are angry and when we want to judge other people and all this stuff, we often forget, and we often fight the ego, and instead of let it do its own thing only, we give it energy, and we get angry and even more angry, and we have a hard time letting go and all that stuff. And I've just started to really understand that idea, to really live it in a way where I feel so much more at ease and peace, because I'm not going to fight it anymore as I have been. The frustrated guy that you saw on video often was a guy that had a lot of fighting in him, fighting against, instead of just accepting what I can control and what I can't. And what I can control is that, at least I feel I can control, is that I'm not going to fight anymore. I'm not going to fight against society. I'm not going to fight against things that doesn't deserve my energy. And since then, I have also started to really appreciate the people that I have in my life much more, because I also came to a conclusion based on that this division that we face in our world and society right now. There's a lot of people who claim that they are awake, claim that they know more than others, and I was one of those, claiming that you are more awake and more enlightened than others. And I've come to that conclusion that if you are more awake than others, but you still judge others for where they are in their life and what kind of mindset and consciousness and awareness that they have, you are not awake at all. You are less awake. Because if you are really awake, if you are really enlightened, you can embrace every single human being and anyone or anything. Because enlightenment is not division, it's inclusion. So that's pretty much the main conclusion and main liberation, I guess, and revelation and whatnot that I've come to these last months. And I have so much more peace. I'm not fighting. I'm just enjoying my life much more than I have throughout my life. And I can say with conviction that, of course, the walk has something to do with that, but I'm still not convinced that I walked it. And then you can say, yeah, you did walk it. You used your legs and your body and stuff. Yes, that I did. But every time I look at my videos that I did or think back to when I did it, it really feels unreal. It feels like I didn't do that. It really feels like something else did that for me or with me, or at least pulled in me in a way that felt beyond who I was or what I was capable of or even should have done. But there was an energy there, a foundation at its core that wanted me or needed me to walk. And I'm guessing that it was probably because of where I am now in my life, with more peace, and the anger and fight and all that stuff has subsided greatly since day 79 on my walk. If you haven't seen that yet, it's probably the one I refer to the most. You will see a Gideon that was very, very angry, that accepted his anger, that was just part of who I am. But the reason why it came through that day the way it did was because so much anger had built up inside of me throughout my life for so many years fighting. And the walk helped me to release that. Because when you walk, body, mind, and spirit comes together, and it does its own thing. You cannot control it, and you can only live it. You can only be in it and part of it. And that's what happened that day. And I think from that day and on up until now, day 79, that was back in the middle of September, around the 10th of September, I think. Since then, I've not been as angry, and it's been very beautiful to be here and to let go of the fight, let go of the fight that I can't control, which is everything that's happening in society. I can only control what's happening inside of me. And I do that with meditation. I do that with, it's not really, I don't really do anything. I think I've just let go of the fight, and I think that the walk itself has been a foundation for that. So that's a bit of an update here, 15 minutes of updates here, overlooking the beautiful ocean, and one of the places I love the most here. I still don't know when exactly I will leave here, if I will. I have a couple of weddings back in Denmark over the summer, and it looks like maybe they will be able to be held. So if that happens, then I want to and need to go back. But I want to stay here. I want to live here. I think it just makes sense for me. Usually a lot of pilgrims coming in. There'll probably be more coming soon, but not many are coming for obvious reasons these days. But if things are getting better, I don't want to say get back to normal, because I didn't like that normal anyway. So yeah, I want to end with this. I want to end with this thing. Throughout my life and all that I've gone through, from my travels, my fights with my parents, my family, their religious stuff, not because my parents are part of that anymore, but just, how I grew up in it. All of my life makes sense now, which is probably the biggest blessing of all. And it's so interesting when I see that the world has gone totally crazy. That's when I become alive, and everything makes sense to me in terms of who I am. I'm so clear, confident about what I've gone through, who I am. Also, kind of what's next. Actually, there's one thing I can't share with you right now because it's not final. But the next video I'll share a bit more with that has to do with something else. But my point about this is that just everything just makes sense now. It's just all clear. It's better, more peaceful, and all this stuff. So I feel like the conclusion to my journey has been that now my life makes sense. I don't remember the old Gideon, the angry guy that couldn't find his way. A guy that I don't really want to be anymore, and I am not anymore, but someone that had to go through a lot, walk through a lot, literally, to get to that kind of clarity, awareness, let go of what was not needed anymore, and take on what is, and what is valuable, what is good, and allow that to come through. So that's sort of the conclusion to this year, to this video, that my life just makes sense now. I just enjoy it and look forward to see what's next. I can look ahead now. I can see the light with regards to many things that I have not been able to for many years, especially this last year, these last 10 months. So thank you for listening, and thank you for following me. Thank you for being part of my journey, and I want you to really listen to this next video. I want to share something that I feel is very, very important and very special and critical for the future, and something that has been very important to me these last 7 weeks. And I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not even going to mention the word. So you'll have to listen to the next video if you get this far to watch that. So without further ado, I want to wish you well, and may you be very well and safe on your unique journey in life. And I hope that I'll see you someday, and you're always welcome to write me, contact me for any reason at all, and I'll be here as a soundboard for anything if I can. And with that, thank you, and be well, safe until next time. From Flora, Finisterre, the end of the world, I'm signing off.